What's going on here, folks? HeirofCarthage back, and Morathi is angry. Mom is mad. You know, there's some people that haven't been cleaning their rooms, haven't been finishing their chores, and she's had enough. She's here to really let them have it. So Morathi and her Blades of the Blood Queen have come to the Ironsand Desert to put a little hurt on a couple of foes. That's Teclis and Markus Wolfheart, and she's so mad at them that she's even teamed up with one of the most cowardly individuals in all of Total War, Tretch Craventail, who isn't leaving the battle, folks. He's just going to get help. He'll be back, okay? He'll be back. He promises. Just wait. Anyway, so here we got Clan Rictus and the Cult of Pleasure, and we've got a fun one here for you. I'm going to kind of quickly hit the armies at a high level, then we'll hit play and get right into it. Morathi is supported by a Master Druki. This is an armor-piercing anti-large unit, and then she's also supported by a Death Hag on the Shrine. And this Shrine will be a great anti-infantry target, an anti-infantry tool, albeit a rather large target, which is one of the downsides of the Shrine, though, like I said, it does cause very good infantry damage. As for the rest of the army for Morathi, her main infantry force is the Blades of the Blood Queen. We do have the Helleburnai, and we've got Bleak Swords in support as well. There are some Witch Elves and Sisters of the Singing Doom in a second line. Way back here in the back are the Crows of Cain, which is a regiment-renowned Harpy unit. And then far on the flank over here is going to be a couple of Dark Riders. Now, as for Tretch, Tretch is supported by both a Plague Priest and a Warlock Engineer. He's got a Plague Claw catapult in the back, 2 units of Warplock Jezzails, each being escorted by a Rat Ogre. And then we've got the Blight Scabs Plague Pack, Censer Bearers here as the strongest infantry unit, and the rest of the infantry is just Skaven Slaves up front and Clan Rats on the flank. And I think one other key unit to call out is going to be some Gutter Runners with Poison out here on the flank. Those are great units for helping to slow down any enemy cavalry. Look at this, flying far above the cliffs. We have a Sun Dragon in an odd deployment place. I don't know if it was almost trying to stay hidden, because I actually didn't catch this the first time that I watched through this battle, so I do have a Sun Dragon up here. And as for the team of Markus Wolfheart and Teclis, despite just looking good standing out here in the desert together, Markus has his Hunter Snares and his other sniping abilities, and he is supported by a Bright Wizard, which is above him, the Bright Wizard having Burning Head and Fireball amongst some of his arsenal. And then Teclis, we'll get to his army in a minute, but Markus's army, he has one Carroburg Greatsword, and it's located right here. This is an unbreakable greatsword unit meant to provide some nice support. And then there are some spearmen with shields in the back. We've got Sigmar's Sons up front along with the Tattersouls, and then there are some special support units. We're going to have Gotrek over here on the right flank of the army, and then back supporting the Elven artillery is Jorek Grim, which is a special Dawi engineer that is available to Markus in campaign. And then there is a steam tank in the back also supporting the forces of Markus Wolfheart. And as for the infantry component, outside of what the Empire brought, it is a bunch of Aesir Spearmen. Teclis himself has Fiery Convocation and a few of his other tools, so he'll be able to support his troops quite nicely. Anyway, the 5 Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers are the main damage component that the Elves have brought, so we'll get to see that in action here. Speaking of action, let's get into it. So I'll try and get you all some good cinematic views. This is a pretty cinematic battle in a lot of ways. So let me talk through some of the keys of victory, I think, for both sides. I think if Teclis and Markus want to be successful, they're going to have to deal with the key infantry units and key heroes right away. So I would want to see them going after the Death Hag and the Blades of the Blood Queen and the Censer Bearers. If they can slow those units down, they should be in good shape. If they cannot, then they will likely be overwhelmed. Killing Morathi and Tretch is going to be difficult for Markus and Teclis, as neither one of them is great in melee. They're going to have to let their support troops help them do it. Now, early on, you can see back here, the Crows of Cain did get rid of the Death Jacks that were deployed far back in the back. There were 2 Pistoliers that I didn't call out, one of which is coming up the flank here. It gets hit by a volley from those hidden Gutter Runners and allows it to be caught by the Dark Rider Cavalry, so that is a pretty big mistake. You can see that the High Elves at this point have decided to spread out their artillery fire. And I want to call out something here real quick. If you're going to spread out the artillery fire, it doesn't make much sense at this point. Right now they're causing damage across the line, when really what you want to do is focus the damage right here on the Blades of the Blood Queen And then I would say that target number 2 would be the Blight Scab's Plague Pack, but they're further back, so you have a chance. So if it were me choosing the artillery targets here, it would be Blades of the Blood Queen, followed up by Death Hag, and then on to the Plague Monk Censer Bearers. These are going to be the most damaging units that can come up at you and the easiest ones to kill with that artillery, whereas you have the Dragon to maybe help take down some other key units. But the Dragon is actually still up on the cliff. I think this would be a good spot for the Dragon to start swinging in from this flank. Like, look at this. When you use a Dragon, units like this are unsupported. Same thing here, here. These are easy pickoffs for a Dragon, and the benefit you get is that that might draw the attention of stuff like Morathi and the Master out here away from the main line, where you can try and focus a victory. Now let's take a look at a couple things being done here. There is a Chain Lightning dropped in the middle. That's actually not bad. It was dropped on the Blades of the Blood Queen, gets some damage done, and disrupts the mainline charge. Further, there was a Burning Head from the Bright Wizard. I actually think the Burning Head's a little early, potentially, and we'll see here in a minute whether or not there's more Burning Heads, but a little early there because it's directional. Now, the Hag gets stuck here by the Hunter Snare, and then Wolfheart hits her with a special ability, and then a second one coming in from the Wizard here, which is a Fireball. Massive damage. We're going to see a Pit of Shades going off on the artillery, though a Pit of Shades won't do a whole lot to artillery, so this won't be critical damage here. But you can see the infantry fight is now well underway, and let's take a look. The Dragon's still up on his perch, not down yet, though the Hag has gotten wrecked, and the Blades of the Blood Queen are in pretty rough shape. Though you can see Markus being forced back, and he should run at this point. He doesn't want to be a part of that fight. Not something he's interested in. You can see the Blight Scab's Plague Pack now coming into play, and we've got a pretty big fight going on in general. I'm going to swing around this way. The Plague Claw Catapult and the Warplock Jezzails are now in range as well. Let you all kind of see everything that's going on from every angle. The Steam Tank has been in the back firing and been able to get some work done. Morathi has pushed in here. Wolfheart has fallen back. Teclis right now is supporting a big fight. We're going to get a Warp Lightning right here in the Spearmen. That was very well placed by the Skaven to help bust out some of those Spearmen. The infantry fight is not going great right now, but here was a clutch play by the Bright Wizard doing a fantastic job burning through some infantry. Look at this, though. Tretch gets free and comes after Wolfheart. Wolfheart's going to be in trouble. He won't last long in this fight. Tretch is going to mess him up. Look at that Doom Bolt from Morathi. Fantastic placement. Took out an Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. This time the Pit of Shades hits home on Sigmar's Sons and some Spearmen, and it is very well placed. Look at this, Morathi rolling in now too. So Wolfheart is in some serious dog-do back here. Tretch is gutting him like a little pig. This is one of those few situations where Tretch is a very dangerous opponent here. Look at this. The Harpy's being used to slow down the Dragon. The Dragon a little bit late to combat, and it's going to land on the Plague Priest. I definitely feel like the Dragon should have been down here earlier, used its breath attacks, and then disrupted the charge. As long as it stayed clear of the Witch Elves, the Dragon would be pretty safe. But now, the way that it's come in and attacked late, it's the target of all the Warplock Jezzails, and the key infantry units are now free from fighting in order to take it on. So we take a look back here. Wolfheart just dropped. Got absolutely KO'd by a combo of Morathi and Tretch, and that actually is a pretty nice combo in this case. The two of them are both infantry units, both anti-large, so it'd be difficult to stop these two because Morathi debuffs units around her. She does have Heartrender and Dark Sword and Enchanting Beauty, so she is going to be debuffing enemy units very significantly. You can see the Sun Dragon got beat out. Jorek Grimm is back here with a few troops, including Sigmar's Sons and a Steam Tank. But this Steam Tank is not going to be in a great place here. Tretch is going to do decently if he can stay on his feet, but Morathi runs off and leaves Tretch on his own, obviously trying to go after Teclis here. And again, two anti-large units plus the Rat Ogres. Teclis is going to find himself pinched and unable to get away, absolutely surrounded here. So the Order of Lore Masters is going to come to an inconspicuous end here, as their leader is absolutely surrounded and completely zerged to death, and that leaves the rest of his armies in pretty much disarray. Gotrek is a very powerful character, though he's up against a lot right now if he wants to win this battle. He's lost most of his support units, and I don't know that Gotrek, even as tough as he is, can fight off an entire army. Though I have seen cases where Gotrek does some absolutely incredible work. Take a look here. You can see that he's being hit by Soul Stealer, which is going to be very bad for him. He's going to need all of his hit points if he wants to have any prayer. And yeah, you can see that this is a pretty rough situation. The steam tank can't go anywhere. It's being surrounded. Very nice surrounds, I think, used by the Dark Elf and Skaven team. A couple of key units where they really get in and surround it 360, where those units can't get away and won't receive the support they need. Morathi's going to call in a Doom Bolt here on the steam tank. Get a shot of that right now, and it is going to do tremendous damage. That Doom Bolt does a lot of good damage on a unit that's kind of focused or able to be held still enough. And we're going to see that the Team Morathi and Tretch, Tretch didn't even have to leave and ask for help this time. Things went very well for them. I think a couple of key misses here for the High Elf Empire team. You got to hit those key units earlier. The Death Hag probably could have been killed before the infantry fight ever began, and then that would have freed up the artillery from there to be focusing on some more of those key infantry units that needed to be knocked out. Killing Tretch and Morathi was going to be a challenge. However, it could be done, I think, if you were able to get Gotrek and a Dragon and some other units in together. The Dragon could have picked off some infantry units on one flank, damaging them badly and leaving them in a bad place. Whereas the Dragon came in late and was able to be easily focused out by the Work Block Jezzail. So when you bring those big units, and this is not me being mean to any of the players, I'm just throwing in some commentary here that hopefully is helpful and fun for people to talk about what went on. Now, these are usually just social games, and that's fine. So it's not like this is like a tournament performance review. Just saying, as people play these games, that Dragon, I think, could have been very good earlier in the fight. I mean, look at all these Skaven slaves and clan rats. These units get almost instantly cleaned up by a Dragon, almost instantly. So those are units that could be potentially put to good use in getting rid of some of this chaff infantry and allowing you a better chance of taking out the key enemy infantry. So that's definitely a good place to go. Now, as far as the Plague Monk Censer Bearers, I actually would have loved to have seen the Sigmar's Sons engage the Blight Scab's Plague Pack. I think Sigmar's Sons is a great unit to throw in their way, and you don't want to blob up other units. Blobs usually cause big issues, but Sigmar's Sons are unbreakable. They do decent damage against low armor, and Blight Scab's Plague Pack is a unit that needs to be used against armor. So if you were somehow able to match up Sigmar's Sons against Blight Scab's Plague Pack, it creates a mismatch that works in the favor of the Sigmar's Sons. But in any case, the way that these battles worked out, sure, some of the key units here took a lot of damage. The Blades of the Blood Queen, man, they got crapped on. They still picked up 108 kills, and that was after being crapped on. So you can see why it's so important for the artillery to be taking a crap on. Okay, if I said crap enough, okay, I think we have. Anyway, so you can see why it was so important for the artillery to hit these guys early and often. And it's because they did pose a massive threat. This is a very dangerous infantry unit. The Death Hag was very nicely limited by the Order of Lore Masters, led by Orella Doria and Lowell. These are all folks from the community that submitted this as well. I'm not taking a break today. I'm going to be out recording some more team battles. So I'm putting up this fun one that was submitted as an interim. I actually thought that there was kind of a fun theme to this one. It was actually a pretty fun fight, I thought. Initially, this fight was, I think, kind of heavily in the favor of the team with the artillery. They were doing tremendous damage to the Cult of Pleasure and Tretch early on. And then, of course, as soon as the melee started, that fight started shifting back the other way with some well-placed hero action, I think, on the part of Mathis and Jendrik, who were able to get their heroes in and do key damage to key units. I really liked the way that they surrounded Wolfheart, trapped him in, and then moved on and started surrounding other units and trapping them in. I thought that was very nice teamwork and a way to play with those units. The Master was a very good unit to support Morathi here. Between the two of them, they're on foot, so they do a lot of ragdolling if they get attacked by anything large, but they also do a lot of damage to anything large. And then Morathi is ripping off like almost 20 melee attack and 9 defense between Enchanting Beauty and Heartrender and Darksword. So they end up being a very nice combo as far as the support to each other. So I liked seeing them working together. And as far as the artillery goes, not a bad plan. I mean, Eagle Claw bolt throwers in these numbers can cause a lot of damage to both of these factions that they were up against. Eagle Claw bolt throwers are good against artillery. So if the Skaven had gone artillery heavy, which is probably why we saw such a contingent, then this is a good thing to have. They work good against Jezzails, they work good against artillery. These are not bad picks by any means, and they're good against large targets as well, as you saw, because they completely wrecked the Death Hag. Bringing a dragon, also probably not a bad plan as a general rule, especially with a lot of Skaven. I just think it got used a little bit late. And then as far as Teclis and Markus go as picks, though, these two are going to be extremely weak, so you have to make sure and keep them in the right place where they can receive the protection they need during critical times. If you want these two to be successful, they have to be slippery as a greased pig. I don't even know what a greased pig is, but, you know, hey, I said it. So here we are. Yeah, they have to be very slippery. So you want to keep them in an area where they can use other units to slip around. Now, nice work by the Bright Wizard here. He got a lot of work done on the part of Aurelladoria. Why am I having a hard time saying Aurelladoria? Anyway, that Bright Wizard got some work done. Even with the early casting of the Burning Head, still able to get some pretty serious damage dealt. Bright Wizard is a good pick against any time you expect there to be a lot of low armor on the battlefield. And most High Elf or Dark Elf infantry is low armor. Almost all Skaven infantry is low armor. So that's a good pick. I mean, a Bright Wizard makes a lot of sense, I think, in this case. And then Teclis is never a bad idea because he could synergize with the Hunter's Snare off of Markus. I didn't see any other nets from Teclis per se in this battle, but that's how I would want to see these two used together, is extra netting and the ability to control the battlefield between Markus and Teclis. They would have to use that to their advantage. Anyway, thank you to all players. Hope you all enjoyed this one. I had a fun time with it. I am playing some team battles with the Discord folks today, and you'll be seeing those over the next few days. I'm glad you all have been enjoying them so much. I figured I would take a short break from the 4v4s today, release some campaign that I'm way behind on, and also just give the community a chance to show off a replay. If you want to be playing battles like this, if you want to come have fun, a couple of things. One, if you need a computer, I put up a video recently that shows you how to build a Total War computer. Go check that out. If you need a place to find people to play, come join the Discord. It's totally free. Just come join it. Tons of people are on there right now, and that's where all these battles are taking place. They're fun. They're not hyper competitive. It's not a tournament environment, which there's nothing wrong with those, by the way, and there are lots of YouTubers covering that, like Turin and Dov Plays and a bunch of these other guys always doing competitive stuff. Go check that out if that's your interest. They do great stuff. But if you're just looking for social games with friends, just a way to get into multiplayer and learn how to play and have a good time, play some themed battles, that's what we're doing. And we probably have some competitive people in there too. In fact, I know we do. I know Felcon and other people are around in the Discord at times. Great way to go get some insight into the competitive side of things as well. So please feel free to join. We'd love to have you there. Anyway, HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you all soon with some more Total War Warhammer 2 action.